Hello everyone, it's John Pollock with you. Coming up on Saturday night, it's a huge middleweight fight as Gennady Golovkin will be taking on David Lemieux. It's happening in New York City, and it's a pleasure to be joined right now by the founder of Golden Boy Promotions. He is Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar, thank you very much for joining us, and give us a bit of the scene down at Madison Square Garden and what it's like to have such a huge fight back in New York City.
It feels like a mega event. I mean, every seat is sold out at the Garden. We just had a press conference here where Roberto Duran was reminiscing about his fights here at the Garden, winning world titles, and he was mentioning how, you know, the actual champion is not the fighters, it's the Garden. You're going to be facing, you know, the history that's involved here, the energy that the people bring to this arena is incredible. So, you know, I mean, the fighters are gonna perform, and they know what's at stake, and they know they're in for a treat when you're fighting at the Garden.
Now, we have two fighters in Golovkin and Lemieux, very much known for their knockout abilities against one another. Is this a throwback for you?
Well, this is the new generation of fighters of boxing. Now that Mayweather's retired, we can finally see some real exciting matchups, and this is the very first of many. Gennady Golovkin versus Lemieux, champion versus champion. Like you mentioned, this is throwback. I mean, this reminds me of Thomas Hearns versus Marvelous Marvin Hagler, for instance, where we saw, I mean, that epic fight where it lasted 3-4 rounds, non-stop action. This is that type of fight. No fighter knows how to take a step going backwards. They're knockout artists. They're fighters who rely on their punching power, and it's gonna be very exciting.
And Oscar, tell us a bit about your philosophy when it comes to matchmaking and this kind of stylistic fight where you do have two fighters that typically do aim to please the paying audience.
Well, these are the types of fights. When we're making these fights, we think about the fans. We think about bringing back those masses of fans that miss those good old days where you were at the edge of your seat cheering on for your best, you know, the best fighter to win. Action-packed fights. I remember those days with Julio Cesar Chavez and Mike Tyson and myself, where we fought the very best in order to be the best. We take chances in order to become legendary fighters, and you risk everything you have in order to win a world title. I mean, this is what we're bringing back. Gennady Golovkin is a throwback fighter. David Lemieux is a fighter who just fights with a lot of passion. We have Miguel Cotto versus Canelo Alvarez coming up in November. These are the types of fights that are going to bring back those masses.
You mentioned Mike Tyson there, and a lot of people have compared the former heavyweight king to our current middleweight champion in Gennady Golovkin. Do you see a lot of similarities between the two, and if Triple G can be that next breakout star that this sport definitely needs?
Well, Gennady Golovkin is a very likable guy, hard worker. You know, he's fast on the rise, great champion, great ambassador for the sport. But let me tell you one thing, he has his hands full on Saturday night. I mean, he has to obviously get past David Lemieux, which is not going to be an easy task. I mean, I'm going to go out of my way and say that David Lemieux is going to shock the world. Remember, this is the arena, Madison Square Garden, where my partner Bernard Hopkins fought Felix Trinidad. He was 15-1 underdog, and Bernard Hopkins was able to beat him only at the Garden. This is where upsets always take place.
Now on Saturday night, beyond just the main event, we also have a number of rising fighters on the undercard. Take us through some of the talent that we should be keeping an eye open for at Madison Square Garden Saturday.
Well, I'm really excited about Tyrone Johnson, who is also a middleweight fighter. He's, you know, he has one loss, but he's a tremendous puncher. He's in line to face the winner of Gennady Golovkin and Lemieux, and he's in line to face the winner of Canelo Cotto. So this is a very important fight for him. He's facing another undefeated fighter in O'Keefe, and you know, it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be explosive. Another fight that I'm really looking forward to is the heavyweight fight. Luis Ortiz is a fighter who who many people are considering to be the next heavyweight champion of the world. He has a tremendous experience, more than 350 amateur fights. He's undefeated as a professional. He fights with a lot of passion and heart. He's facing another undefeated fighter, which is going to be a war. So it's a great card from top to bottom, and I think people are going to get a big bang for their buck.
Now, you've been there throughout the week. It's a notable fight coming to Madison Square Garden. Being a former fighter yourself, seeing the kind of publicity this fight is getting, does it give you kind of that itch? Do you miss fighting in the ring when you're seeing a fight that really galvanizes the public?
Yeah, I think about it every single day. But, I actually tried making a comeback a few months ago. I started working out and I started running a few miles, and I went to the gym. I sparred about 10 rounds. I felt amazing. The only problem was the next day I couldn't get out of bed. I mean, that's just, I'm just past my prime, I guess. This is a young man's sport. But I get a lot of satisfaction promoting and building these young fighters' careers and helping them with accomplishing their goals. So I think I'm pretty happy where I'm at right now.
All right. Thank you very much, Oscar. We appreciate the time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.